Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on a Saturday morning. We promise you to keep this session engaging and informative. This session specifically will be on how to make your application a native part of Outlook via Outlook actionable messages and add-ins. For this session, I'm joined by Neelu and Hitesh, who are part of the Outlook add-ins team, while Mohit and I represent Outlook actionable messages team. This is the agenda for this session. We will first take a few minutes to understand how Outlook serves as a platform. Then Mohit and I will take a deep dive and help you understand the value proposition behind actionable messages and how can you build and publish actionable emails for your use cases. Then Neelu and Hitesh will take over and talk about Outlook add-ins and show a cool demo on creating an Outlook web add-in. Before we start delving deeper into the topics, let me take a minute and talk about Outlook as a platform. Now, I'm sure most of you would recognize Outlook as an email client. However, there's a lot more to it. Outlook serves as a platform where a lot of our developers develop actionable messages, mini apps, etc. And there's a lot more to it. So when someone asks us what's the USP, what are the unique points around Outlook, there are four top things that come to our mind. The first is the fact that it serves as the single hub for all of your emails, your calendar contacts, and as well as your appointments. Hence, no need to go anyplace else. You get all this information right within Outlook. Second, Outlook comes with enterprise grade security, and hence you can be rest assured that all of your data and information are safe. Third, Outlook also serves you with intelligent recommendations and reminders so that you can plan your day well in advance and get to know what your day looks like. And most importantly, the fourth point is the appeal that Outlook has to our developer community. It has an active and vibrant community which ensures that all your questions, your debugging requests, everything get answered online. Here's a quick glimpse at the overall Outlook ecosystem. Outlook, as you would already know, is present on Outlook Web, Mac, iOS, Android, and your favorite desktop. Hence, Outlook is something that you can get to see on any device that you can think of. Outlook uses Office add-ins that help you create mini apps right within an email, and Office add-ins connect with Microsoft Graph under the hood. Similarly, speaking about actionable messages help you create actionable content that enhances your productivity and serve on top of your emails. Now, I'm sure you are interested to get a deep dive, so let's get started. Starting with actionable messages, if I were to summarize the value proposition of Outlook actionable messages in a single sentence, I would say it makes the 5 seconds you spend reading your email count. Now, if we think about emails have been constant over the past many years, and then there hasn't been much developments in that territory. Hence, it remains an unexplored charter. We thought, what can Microsoft do to reimagine emails and the way you interact with your emails? And hence the USP around making the time you spend reading your email count. To further establish this point, let's take a traditional expense approval scenario. Say you are the manager in an organization and your reportee, John, has submitted a typical expense reimbursement bill. So what would you think happen in a traditional scenario? Step 1. You receive an email from John which has a link to an external app. Step 2. You click on this link and get redirected to the external app. Step 3. You log in with your credentials and navigate to reach the concerned section in the app where you see all the expense report details. Step 4. You click on approve, and then once the expense is approved, step 5. You click on the close icon to come back to Outlook. Now, I would say that this wasn't quite a pleasant experience. It took us 5 steps to approve something as simple as an expense report. It took a lot of time, and the most important uh, factors. First, there was an inherent context switching involved over here. So when you click on an external link and get redirected to the app, there's a diminish in your productivity because you no longer continue to work on Outlook. By the time you come back, you may have already lost the context of what you are working on, and hence this greatly diminishes your productivity and is not a great thing to do for a manager. To add to it, the second point remains that since managers see these emails typically as distractions, they tend to pile these up to act upon them at a later date. Now imagine the situation of the submitter of the request. He is uncertain why his expense approval report is not being approved. And hence, again, the submitter also faces this uncertainty, and the dilemma causes him to lose his productivity again. Hence, it's a lose-lose situation for both the manager and the submitter of the request. What if we were to reimagine this? Voila, enter actionable messaging. You receive an actionable email which has all the details of the expense report. You go through the details, and step 1. You see that there are two buttons, approve and reject, to take the necessary action. And mind you, these are buttons. You click on approve button, and step 2. Well, there's no step 2. There's a single step, and you were able to approve the expense request on the click of a single button. To have another walkthrough, let me go through this once again. You receive this email, you see the two action buttons, you click on approve, and that's it. Within 5 seconds, you were able to approve the expense report, which elsewhere would have taken close to 5 to 6 steps and a lot more time, and with context switching. Here's a quick demo to demonstrate our value proposition and how actionable messaging is used for SharePoint approval scenarios. You see that Priya, a new employee in the organization, has requested for a document, and Shubham and Praveen are the co-owners of the resource. They receive the actionable email, click on the approve button, and that's it. Shubham has now given Priya access to this document. The cool thing about actionable messaging is that it also automatically refreshes the email upon opening. In this scenario, consider that both Shubham and Praveen received the request to approve this resource request. However, if Shubham has already approved this request, then Praveen would see the status as approved, and he would get to know that he doesn't really need to act upon this. Till the time Shubham hasn't approved this request, both Praveen and Shubham will have the options to approve. But once it's approved by any resource owner, that's it. The other resource owner automatically gets to know that the approval is already in place. To drive home this point, let me take 20 seconds more and replay this video. Priya requests for a resource. Shubham receives an email. He thinks about the required access that needs to be given. He clicks on the approve button, and that's it. Priya knows that this request is approved. Shubham has approved it, and Praveen also gets to know that the approval is already in place. Let us play a small video, and we were one of the key things that were demonstrated by our CEO, Satya, in Ignite 2019, and it's a matter of great privilege. Let's play this video and hope you enjoy it and get to see the real life partner scenarios that leverage actionable messaging. That was indeed a cool video. In a nutshell, actionable messages are synonymous to productive emails. They make you productive by eliminating the need to redirect your end users to external apps, by allowing for effortless and seamless task completion right from within an email, by making your user engagement go up and leading to real money savings. And we do have a lot of data to support this. And it's also something that's supported across all Outlook clients. So Outlook Web, Mac, Desktop, iOS, Android, doesn't matter. You will find actionable messaging on all these canvases. Now here's a quick sneak peek at some of our top partner scenarios. When you miss a notification on Teams, the email that you get is an actionable email called Teams Missed Activity Notification. When someone requests for a SharePoint access request, you get, you are right, another actionable messaging email. MS Approvals, Microsoft's internal expense management and approval tool, also leverages actionable messaging. And this is exactly what we saw at the beginning of this session. All those expense reports have now become actionable thanks to actionable messaging. What you see on the right hand side is a typical groups approval scenario. You want to add a new member to your group? Simply send an actionable email. The owners of the group receive this email, click on approve, and that's it. All the owners get notified that the approval is in place and you and you have a new member in the group. We have also seen a lot of love from our external third-party partners. To name a few of our flagship partners, Nintex, ServiceNow, and Zoho send actionable emails in the order of a few 100,000. As of today, we have more than 450 live partner scenarios and can boast for more than 15 million monthly actions getting completed within Outlook. Here we list a few of our top partner scenarios, and I would emphasize that while this is not an exhaustive list, we have hundreds of partners coming to us for these scenarios. We have a lot of approval scenarios in place, like leave requests, expense management requests, etc. We are the number one choice for collaboration-based scenarios. We take the lead on sales scenarios such as assigning or unassigning of tasks. We power a lot of feedback scenarios, and then we also help our partners manage their subscription services. Want to know about a few success stories? Well, MS Approvals, MS Expense, Microsoft's internal expense management system, leads to an improvement of 8x in the time taken to approve the expense requests. We have seen the time getting reduced from 6 days to 17 hours, which has led to an estimated $8 million saving. And these are all the real numbers. We had seen that earlier, due to the late credit card fees, a lot was getting spent. However, now thanks to actionable messaging, these requests get approved a lot faster. When we speak of SharePoint, as you have already seen, we send more than 6 million access request emails with an engagement rate of 40%, and the time taken to approve such requests has come down drastically from 48 hours to just 30 minutes. Microsoft Power Automate, which powers a lot of line of business scenarios, has been one of our top 5 partners consistently. We again see more than 6 million actionable emails being sent, and our partners cite actionable messaging as one of the key differentiators against other offerings. Well, what are you waiting for? I hope this was enough to get you inspired, and now I would request Mohit to take over and help you understand how can you register as a partner, help you with a walkthrough of our onboarding process, and show 2 cool live demos. Mohit, over to you.
Thank you, Karan, for showing us how actionable messages can increase our productivity. So, hello everyone, I am Mohit Choudhary, and today I'm gonna show how you can create your own actionable messages and send it across to your users. So actionable messages comprises of four core components. First is that the partner who wants to send an actionable email must be registered with us through our onboarding portal. Next, after the mail is sent, but before reaching to the user's inbox, we have a processing layer called TE framework, which extracts actionable entities and stamps it onto the message. Next, once the message reaches the user's inbox, the Outlook client takes care of rendering of actionable email. The fourth and the most important part is the action execution agent, which handles the request from the client and sends it to the third party service. This would become more clear when I show you the demo. So for the demo, we first need to identify any scenario. Like it can be any kind of scenario, say approval scenario or a feedback scenario. Then you need to register with us through our onboarding portal, which is this one. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the registration. So this is our onboarding portal where we can register a new provider. So for this demo purpose, I have created a test tenant and a few test users in it. So I'm just going to give a friendly name to it. So this is the provider ID or the originator ID, which you cannot change as it is a unique ID which identifies a provider. Next, we have the sender address field in which you need to enter the email addresses of the sender who will be sending the actionable email. Next is the target URL field. Here we need to enter the URL of the endpoint where our request would land once the submit button or approve button is clicked. So for this demo, I have created a dummy API whose URL I'll be entering here. Next, we need to select the scope of submission. So for this demo, I'll be using test user submission. So in this, we need to just enter the email addresses of the users whom we want to send the actionable card. Then you can also select organization scope or the global scope depending upon your scenario. So I'll just go ahead and save the registration. The test registrations are auto approved and the settings are applied within 1 hour of submission. Next, I'm going to go ahead with our designer portal where we can design actionable emails. So in this designer portal, we already have a few samples which you can modify according to your scenario, or you can even create your own card from scratch. So creating a card from scratch is super easy as we have all the elements which you can just drag and drop upon the canvases like this. Say I want to add another text block. I can go ahead like this. And if I want to delete, I can just delete it through one delete button. For this demo, I'll be creating a quick poll card and sending it to our users. So I can change the properties of the container directly from here within the property editor. So I can change the color, I can change the padding, and then I can even change the text of the text blocks. I can change the font size of the text. I can change its font weight. And there are many other options which are available for your scenario according to your, which you can use according to your scenario. So now I'm going to create a text block where I'll be asking a question. So where would we host the conference? Okay, I am also going to give users some choices. which I can do through inputs. There are various types of inputs supported. For this, I'll be using input.choice set, and I'll just give the choices here. So we can give any number of choices. For this, I am going to give only 3 choices. Next, I'll also want to give the users text block to enter if they have something else in mind. So I'll just give a input.text for this and give a hint text like any other suggestion. And the most important part is the submit button, which will be used to submit the poll. So here in the URL, we'll be entering the URL or the endpoint which we created and which we registered in our registration. So I already have created this one. Then I can, if I think the card looks nice, so I can just go ahead and preview this card. So this is how it would look on a desktop screen, and this is how it would look on a mobile screen. So now I can even send the card from here to my own inbox and check how the card renders. So this is the card which I got. So this is how it would look on Nova or the Outlook web app. And I think it looks nice. So I'm going to send it to my test users. So for that, I'll use Postman to send the cards. I already have the template of the email where I've entered the recipients. So I have kept 3 recipients, the user 02, user 03, and user 04. Then I have just copied and pasted the JSON, which we get from the designer portal after creating the card. And I'm just using the send mail REST API to send the card. So as you can see, the card has been sent. So I'll just open user two's inbox and check whether the card has come or not. I'll also check user three's inbox. So yeah, the user three has received the email. We can open it and just going to refresh the page. Let's see. Yeah, so user two has also received the card. So as you can see, it has rendered for user two. Now the user two can just click on his choice and then submit. So great, we receive a refresh card. Isn't it awesome? Like you can just submit your feedback from within Outlook and you get a refresh card saying that your response has been recorded. So similarly for test user 04, we can check whether the card has rendered or not. Since we didn't give user 4 in our registration, so we can see that the card has not rendered for user 4. I would also like to show a small demo using Power Automate. So if you guys have used Power Automate, then you would be familiar with it, that it can be used to like automate your any process and connect your various applications together. So for this demo, I'll be using a approval request. So basically, Power Automate is one of our first-party partners, which sends approval requests via email and uses actionable messages for it. So I'm going to create a small basic flow to demo this. So I'm going to edit the flow from here. So if you can see, the logic is like the title of the email would be approval request. And the condition here is that if the request has been approved, then it would send an approval email, which says that your request has been approved. And if the response is rejected, then you'll get a email which says that the request has been rejected. So I'm going to just save this flow and go ahead and run the flow from here. So while running, it asks me whom I want to share this approval email. So I want to send it to user 01. Okay. And this is asking for the follow-up email, whom I want to send it. So I'm going to enter user 02's email ID in this and trigger the emails. So as you can see, the flow was successfully run. And now I would be getting an email in user 01's inbox with the approval request. Think there's a delay. I should again trigger the flow. So yeah, as you can see, I've got an approval request from MS Flow, and I'll just refresh this card. So yeah, as you can see, it is a adaptive card or an actionable email where you can directly respond with the request to the request. So I'll just reject the request stating that it is confidential and submit it. Upon submitting the request, I can see that I've got a refresh card which says that it has been rejected, and the user too would also get a follow-up email stating that the request had been rejected. So the main reason why I'm showing this flow is that if you have any line of business scenarios which require approval, which is an approval scenario, then in that case you can link those apps with Power Automate, and you don't have to do anything else. Your users would be able to uh, like approve or reject requests from within Outlook. So this is it for the demo, and I hope I was able to give you some idea about how the actionable messages work. Now I'm going to go ahead with the PPT and point you to the resources which are available for you for developing those. So the first is the link to our developer documentation. So here you'll find all the info about actionable messages. Then the second is a GitHub repository where you can find various code samples for building your application. It also contains various card samples. Then the third is the link for our security requirements, which you must comply to for sending actionable emails. So regarding the approval process, so if you are registering for global scope, then our Outlook actionable messages admins must approve the scenario. But if your registration is only organization scope, that is if you want to send the cards to only the people in your organization, in that case, your tenant admin must be the approver. So if you further have any questions, you can reach us out at onboardoam@microsoft.com, and you can even ping us on our email IDs. Thank you.